So this is the part 2, the chapter 3 test review, part 2. And it's going to be a little bit different. I screenshotted all the remaining questions. I think it was like 16 or something. Questions 30 through 47, because in this way I can actually like write things. I can actually like draw, so we can get a good, because eventually we're gonna have to start drawing some things. So let's see right here. Main Street, question 30. Main Street intersects Avenue A and B. Avenue A is parallel to Avenue B, okay? I'm gonna have this. God darn it, I keep forgetting. So this would be A, and this would be B. It says Main Street intersects Avenue AB. A and B is parallel, okay? So parallel. Avenue A is also perpendicular to Main Street. So in Main Street, let's do orange. So it's saying that this would be Main Street right here. Main Street. So it's saying that this is perpendicular. And now it's asking us, if we know that A and B are parallel, and M intersects A at a 90 degree, what do you guys think the relationship between M and B is? Well, we know it's going to be another right angle, correct? Because of the perpendicular transversal theorem, not postulate, theorem. Perpendicular, transversal, so perpendicular, transversal theorem, which tells us that if there's a transversal that intersects one of the lines at a 90 degree perpendicularly, whatever other lines are parallel to the first line that got intersected at a 90 degree will also be 90 degrees as well. Oh shoot, I won't be able to click the answer. Oh. Okay, so 30. 37. 30, so it should be Main Street B and Main Street related. Well, we definitely know it's not A, it's not B, because they're not parallel. No. So it's gonna be D, because Avenue B and Main Street will be perpendicular by the perpendicular transversal theorem, not postulate. So that means it should be D. What? Oh, I'm so dumb. Oh, because, guys, this question is different because of the order. Look, you see parallel, perpendicular, parallel, perpendicular, parallel. This is parallel, perpendicular. So the correct answer was still D. It was still B. Avenue B and Main Street will be perpendicular by perpendicular transversal theorem. Yeah. Avenue B and Main Street will be perpendicular by the perpendicular transversal theorem. So it's still the correct answer. It just in here it was D, but in here it was B. So don't worry too much about that. That really confused me. So there you go. So still, Avenue B and Main Street will be perpendicular by the perpendicular transversal theorem. Okay? So now I'm gonna try to stick to this page though, because I don't need that page to give me the answer. So 31. Find the slope of the line that goes through the given points. Okay, guys, you have to know this. What is slope? Find the slope. So what is slope? Slope is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, I wrote down what we know. I wrote down what I know, which is slope. It's asking to find slope. I know how to find slope. It's this. It's this. Now, it gave me through the given points. So it's telling me they want me to find the slope of the line that goes through these points. So that means I'm going to label this x1, y1, x2, y2. Now, m equals, what is y2? 4 minus 8 over x2 is 3 minus negative 2. So my answer is negative 4 over 5. Negative 4 over 5. Did it change it over here? I think it's going to change the answer. So it's not negative 4 over 5. Let me just double check. Yeah, but it's right. I'm telling you guys it's right, okay? 4 over 5. So find the slope again, guys. Again, same thing. x1, y1, x2, y2. The slope is negative 7 minus negative 9, which is going to give me 2. And then 2 minus 2, which is 0. Uh-oh. So what is this? What does this tell me? What does it mean when the 0 is on the bottom? When the 0 is on the denominator, that means our answer is undefined. So that would be B. Now, what if we had the slope is 0 over 2? Then the slope would just be 0. And what is an undefined line? An undefined line is vertical, and an undefined slope is vertical, and a 0 slope is horizontal. We have to know those things. Okay. What about this? Okay. Next one. Find the slope and the y-intercept of the line. Okay. So if we want the slope and we want the intercept, which format do we have to do it? In the slope, intercept form. So m, you go, whoops. I'm going to do it down here. Y equals mx plus b. So let's turn this into this over here. So I'm going to have negative 10x. I guess it just decided to erase it. Okay, that was weird. Okay, negative 10x plus y equals negative 11. Now let's change this into the y equals mx plus b format so then we can have our slope and we'll have our y-intercept. So plus 10x plus 10x, we'll have y equals 10x minus 11. So what's my slope? My slope is 10, and my y-intercept is negative 11. Negative 11. This subtraction belongs to this 11, so negative 11. Okay, what is this? Okay, all we have to do is find the plot find the graph that goes along with this guy. Well, what do I know about, the first thing we should plot is our y-intercept. So let's start crossing off things that do not have this y-intercept. This is good. This is bad. No. Let me do a different color because it looks blue already. This is good. This is no bueno. This is good. This is not good. Because the y-intercept here is negative 4, and the y-intercept here is -4. Now, guys, do I even have to count up 4, 1 to the right, down 4, 1 to the right, down 4, 1 to the right here? No, I do not have to do down 4, 1 to the right, because what do I know about a slope that's negative, guys? The graph is going to go this way, right? The line is going to go down, has a negative slope. So does this have a negative slope? No, it doesn't. It has a positive slope because it's going up. So we know this has to be my correct answer. Now, if you want to double check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You see how I landed perfectly there? So we know that's the answer. We know it's C. Now, what about this? Okay. Decide whether the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Well, we know for it to be parallel, they must have two things. Same. This writing's so thick. I don't like that. We know it has to have the same slope, and it also has to have different y-intercepts. Perpendicular lines need to have what? Opposite reciprocal slopes. And an example of neither would be obviously if they have, why is it doing that? We know an example of neither would be if they have unrelated slopes at all. So like if the slope was like 2 and the other one was 3.5, that those are not the same and they're not opposite reciprocal. Or another example of neither would be if they had the same slope, right? Same slope, but with the same y-intercept, because we know that parallel lines will never touch. The only time when parallel lines touch is if the slope is the same. We know parallel lines have the same slope. That's what I meant to say. Parallel lines have the same slope. However, if you have two lines with the same slope, but they share the same y-intercept, then they will not be parallel anymore because they're going to be stacked right on top of each other. And if they're stacked right on top of each other, then they are intersecting. So that makes it no longer parallel lines. So even though they have the same slope, you still have to double check and see its y-intercept to make sure. Okay. Now, are these lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Well, look. They have the same slope. Whoa, that was way too thick. They have the same slope, right? But do they have, now we need to double check and see if they have the same or different y-intercepts. This is +2. This is +2. This is -5. So therefore, since they are different y-intercept, we know that these lines are actually parallel. If they would have had the same y-intercepts and the same slope, we know it would have been neither. Okay, so what about this? Determine whether lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Okay, so when you have an example like this, you want to turn both of these. You're going to want to turn both of these into y-slope intersect form, because in order to determine if something is parallel, perpendicular, or neither, you want to find two things. You need two things. You need one, the slope, and two, you need the y-intercept. So it's really hard to tell what's the slope and what's the y-intercept just with this. So let's convert it into slope-intercept form. So we will literally have the slope and the intercept. So let's turn this guy. So we're going to add the 4x. So 5y equals 4x plus 3. And then divide by 5. So we'll have 4 equals 4 over 5x plus, bro, why is it doing that? Plus 3 over 5. So we have that one, and now in orange, let's do this one. So that's going to be 4y equals negative 5x plus 16. Guys, all I'm doing is subtracting 5x. Just like with here, all I did was add 4x, and that's how I got these. Okay, and now divide by 4, so y equals negative 5 over 4x plus 4. Okay, so now let's take a look at our slopes first. So what is our slopes? We have 4 over 5x, and we have negative 5 over 4. Now, what do these two look like, guys? This is the opposite reciprocal of this, right? Now, do we care when we do perpendiculars? We do not care if they have the same slope, the same y-intercept, different y-intercepts. It doesn't matter. We don't care about that. All we care about is, do they have opposite reciprocal slopes? And they do. Therefore, these are perpendicular. Understand? Okay. So let's go over here. Use the slope-intercept form of the linear equation to write the equation of the line with the given slope and intercept. Okay, so we're given the slope. So we're given the slope, and then we're given the y-intercept. So they want us to write it in slope-intercept form. So all we have to do is do y equals, what's the slope? Negative 3x. What's the y-intercept? Plus 4. That's it. That's literally all you have to do, guys. That's it. So I expect everybody to get this question right for sure. Like, undoubtedly. Okay, now use the slope-intercept form to graph the equation y equals negative 5x plus 2. So the first thing we want to do when we're plotting is plot our y-intercept. What's our y-intercept? 2. So let's go over here and plot R2. Perfect. Now, what is the slope? Negative 5 over 1 over 1. That's how you guys got to start seeing it. Negative 5 over 1x, which means that we're going to go down 5 and 1 to the right. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Right there. Right here. So now our line should go this way. On your MyMathLab, once you plot this orange point and this green point, you'll be good. It'll make the graph for you. So don't worry about it. All you have to do is plot this here and then plot this here, and it'll automatically draw this blue line for you. And that's it. That's your answer. Okay? Now what about this? Okay. Now, guys, there's two ways to go about doing this. One, we could use the block method, which is, how do we solve x? Well, if we want to find the x-intercept, what is the x-intercept? The x-intercept is the value of x when y is 0. But what's going to happen here if we do that? So let's put 0 as the y, so this is going to cancel. Now my x is going to be negative 3 over 7. Is that an easy point to plot? No, it is not. So I'm going to choose not to do that because it's going to be extremely hard to plot negative 3, 7. What is that, like over here? Is it here? Is it here? We don't know. So the best option, unfortunately, we cannot use the block method, even though it is in standard form, right? This is in standard form over here. But we're not going to be able to do it that easily with the block method. So we're going to have to convert this guy, this equation, into into slope-intercept form. So let's do that over here. So we're going to add the 7x. So we're going to have 2y equals 7x plus 3. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. So we're going to have y equals 7 over 2x plus 3 over 2. Now this is a little bit easier because we know 3 over 2 is 1.5. So if this is 1 over here, if this is 1 over here, or around here will be 1.5. Okay, now let's go back. Now, what is my slope? It is 7 up, rising 7, 2 to the right. So let's do that. I'll do it in green. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Notice how I went up at half paces. Now 1, 2, boom. We'll put that in green. And now our line. So look, notice, this is 1.5, right? What's 1.5 plus 7? 8.5. So it ended up working out perfectly. And now, let's just draw a rough line right there. That will be the line. Once again, once you plot the blue point and the green point, your graph on MyMathLab will automatically happen. So you're good. That's where this is for. Okay? Now, what's next? We're almost done. Okay. Find an equation of the line having the given slope and containing the given point. Okay, perfect. So now we're given a slope and we're given a point. Notice how it's singular, point, a single point. So can we use the slope-intercept form? No, because is this an intercept? Is 8, 5 an x, or is it a y-intercept? No, it is not. So we're not going to be able to plot it in so easily as our y-intercept form. Thus, we got to first put it into point slope form. Point, because we have one point. Point, because we have one point, and then slope, because we have a slope. So point slope form. And just to reiterate, I'm going to do it again for you guys. Okay. You guys should already have this. You guys should already have this on your notes. But the slope-intercept form is this. Point slope form is this. So I never ever teach you guys to just memorize something. I will show you how we got to that answer. So let's see how we got from that. We can get to point slope form using the slope formula. Okay, first we're going to multiply out the denominator. So this will cancel. Now we're going to have y2 minus y1 equals m x2 minus x1. Now, since we have point slope form, how many points do we have? We only have 2 points, right? An x and a y. So how many coordinates do we have is what I meant to say. We only have one coordinate. And in one coordinate, we have one x and one y. So will I need this y2? No. Will I need this x2? No. So our final equation will end up being y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. And that is our slope-intercept. That is our point slope form. Look, it's the same thing here and here. So now, let's finally show our work over here. Yikes, that was bad. So, y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. What's my x and what's my y? X x1, y1, now y minus 5, y minus 5 equals, what's my slope? 2x minus 8. Okay, so this is the slope form. This is the point slope form. But guys, please read your instructions. What does the instructions say? Simplify your answer. Type your answer in slope-intercept form. So it wants it in slope-intercept form. So we have to turn this into y equals mx plus b format. And the way we do that is by just solving it for y. Because we want to have it y equals something. So let's solve for this y. So first thing we want to do is distribute. So y minus 5 equals 2x minus 16. Now we add the 5 here, add the 5 there. So our answer will be y equals 2x minus 11. And that's our final answer. Y equals 2x minus 11. So you'll plot that in over here. Okay, and that's your final answer. Let's go over here. Find the equation of the line that passes through the points 3, 0 and 5, 8. Okay, so do we have a slope? No. Do we have a y-intercept? No. This 3, 1 is the x-intercept, so we can't use that. So the first thing we want to do, guys, we want to find our slope and we want to find our y-intercept. That's the most important thing. So let's find our slope. So let's attribute values to these guys. x1, y1. x2, y2. So my slope is 8 minus 0 over 5 minus 3. So my slope is 8 over 2, which is 4. So my slope is 4. All right, so my slope is 4. So now slope is 4. Let me just highlight that so we don't forget it. Slope is 4. Okay. Now, what is next? Okay, now I need my y-intercept, but I don't have one. So what can I do to find that? That is a good question. We are going to have to put this. So since we don't have our y-intercept, that means we cannot put it into slope-intercept form right away. We cannot put it into this form right away. So what can we do? How many points do we have here, guys? 1 and 2, right? What is the formula for the way that we can get our point what is the formula that we can use when we have one set of points and slope? We use the point slope form. So let's do that. Point slope form. So we have y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Now, you can choose whatever points you want, guys. You could choose this one or this one. We don't care. I'm going to choose 3, 0 because it's a lot easier, right? So I'm going to put y minus, what's my y1? 0 equals m, which is 4, x minus 3. So now this y would just be y, so we're almost done. 4x, and now this would be negative 12, and that's our final answer. That is in what format? Slope-intercept form, right? Which is how we wanted it, in slope-intercept form. So this is my final answer. Okay? So guys, you have to actually read and try a bunch of different things, because once you guys write your equation in slope-intercept form, you're going to give up. Or you're going to put 3. I swear to God, do not put y equals 4x plus 3 because you saw a 0 and you think this is the y-intercept. Do not do that, please. This is an x-intercept, okay? Not a y-intercept. So does everybody understand? If you're given points, you need to find your slope, because that's why they gave you 4 points. They gave you 3, 0 and 5, 8. Whatever. They gave you 4 values, right? Two points. They gave you 2 points. They gave you 3, 0 and 5, 8. And from those 2 points, you have to find your slope. Then once you find your slope, you still don't have your y-intercept. So you need to do what? You need to pick any of these 2 points, any of those 2 points, and turn it into point slope form. And then from your point slope form, you can simplify and solve it, and then turn it into your slope intercept form. And that's your final answer. And please read your question. It says write the equation in slope intercept form. Okay. Okay, let's see this one. Okay, guys, same thing. Find an equation of the line that passes through the following points. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So my slope is, what is negative 8 minus negative 7? that would be negative 8 plus 7, which is negative 1. What is negative 6 minus negative 4, which is plus 4, and negative 2. So my slope is just 1 over 2, correct? Now, I have my slope. I don't have a y-intercept, so I'm going to put that into point slope form. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Notice how I keep writing this down and not the slope, because we should all know slope, but I remember writing things down helps us to memorize and consolidate the memorization process. Okay, so let's do the first two, just because, I don't know, just because, why not? Y minus negative 7 is plus 7. Y plus 7 equals, what's the slope? 1/2. X plus 4. So y plus 7 equals half x plus 2 minus 7 minus 7. So my final answer is y equals 1/2 x minus 5. That's my final answer. Okay, next. Okay, guys, this is super easy. Look, find the equation of the line. Write the equation in standard form. So we know standard form. You guys have to know the standard form is ax plus by equals c. Okay, so where is my... Oh, darn. That x-intercept is going to be hard to find. So since this intercept, I thought it was going to be easy because I thought this passed through like 1 or something. I thought this passed through here. So if this passed through 3 and this passed through 1, we can easily just say x plus 3y and then 1 or something like that, but we're not. So we're going to have to be able to put this into into standard form. So we want to put it in this format, but we're going to get it from putting it in the y in the slope-intercept form first. So for slope-intercept form, what is my slope-intercept form? My slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And what is my slope? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. So that's going to be negative 5x plus 3, because that's where this came from, the y-intercept. So now let's just turn that into into standard form. So what is it? We're going to turn this into ax plus by. So my answer would be, let's move the 5x over here, plus 5x. So my final answer should be 5x plus y equals 3. That should be my standard form. Now, let's check it, okay? Yeah, let's check it. So, what is my y-intercept? Okay, well, in order to find my y-intercept, I would need this x to be 0. So if we cross this out, what is my y? Y equals 3. What's my y? Y equals 3. So now, to find my x-intercept, I need to set the y equal to 0. So then we're just going to have 5x equals 3, which my x value will then be 3 over 5, which if we take a look at the x-intercept here, you could kind of see how it's 3 over 5 right here a little bit. So once again, it kind of looks like half, but you can kind of see that it also could look like 3, 5. That's why you never make assumptions, and you always, unless you have it clear like x-intercepts or y-intercepts, you want to turn it into slope-intercept form first, and then solve and put it into the format that you desire, which is the ax plus by equals c, where c is just your constant. Understand? Okay. Cool. Let's move on. What is this? Okay. Find an equation of the line graph. Write the equation in standard form. So once again, in order to write it in standard form, which is ax plus by equals c, let's turn that in. We can't find it there because look at this y-intercept. That's very sketchy. this x-intercept looks good, but not the y. So let's just make our life easier. I think it's easier to just turn it into the slope-intercept form. So y equals, what's my slope? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we went up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So up 4, to the right 6, x plus what? What's the y-intercept? Oh, dang, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to put it in this format because my y, it looks a little sketchy. I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out exactly. So what I'm actually going to do, by the way, I was going to simplify this, by the way. Don't be like, Mr. It's 2/3. I know it is. So instead, what I'm going to do is now turn it to point slope form. And from there, I'm going to then put it into slope-intercept form. And then I'm going to put it into standard form. Guys, this stuff is hard. There's multiple steps, okay? So I'm going to choose, what point do we want to pick? Do we want to pick the negative points? Do we want to pick this negative point or this positive point? Let's pick the positive, right? So this is my point I'm going to focus on. So I have my slope, right? What was my slope again? My slope is 4/6, which is really 2/3. So now I have my slope and I have my point. So let's write it over here in green. So my slope is 2/3. My points that I'm going to focus on is 4, 6 is my x1, y1, obviously. And now y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. So now let's plug in what we know. Y minus 6 equals 2/3. X minus 4. Y minus 6 equals 2/3 x. What is 2/3 times -4/1? That's -8/3. So minus 8/3. I'm going to erase that. Okay. Now I'm going to add 6 to this side, add 6 to this side. We know that in order to add something, in order to add fractions, we need to make the numerator, the denominator the same. So times 3. So that's really going to be -8/3. Notice how I kept the negative here, because this subtraction belongs to the 8/3, so it becomes its negative. Now, what is 6 times 3? 6, 12, 18. (18/3). And what's -8 plus 18? That is 10/3. So my final answer, I'll just write it over here, is going to be y equals 2/3x plus 10/3. Now from here, I'm just going to turn this into the standard form. So in order to do that, I'm going to subtract 2/3x. So now my answer should be -2/3x plus y equals 10/3. Whoops. So this should be my final answer. So let's just double check. Okay, so let's double check here. I know it's kind of hard to see because it's so zoomed out. Okay, why don't I just write it up here so we can see it better. Okay, so I'm going to write it here just so we can look at it better with the graph. Now, if I take out my x, with my x is at 0, what's my y going to be? 10/3, which is about 3.1, something like that. So 1, 2, 3.1. So that looks about right? Not 3.1, 3.33, right? 3.33, because what's 10 divided by 3? It's going to be 3.3333 repeating. So this looks about 3.33. Now, if I put y as 0, I block out the y, let's find my x-intercept. So it would really be negative 2 over 3x equals 10 over 3, which how do we get rid of a fraction? We multiply it by its reciprocal, negative 3 over 2. So now my x would be, this simplifies to a 5, this simplifies to a 1, 1, 1, so negative 5. And now, is my x at negative 5? Okay, thank goodness, it was at negative 5. So now we've double checked our answer, so we know that this is definitely the correct answer. Okay, guys, we can review this question in class if you guys want, because this was pretty long and kind of convoluted, but it's really the same steps. You know, it just takes, I got kind of, this part probably confused you guys because we've been doing it, that we can turn everything into slope-intercept form. But what was the problem with slope-intercept form? We need the slope, and we need the y-intercept. But what happened here? The y-intercept, you can't see it. So that means then we had to go into point slope form, and we could have picked this point or this point. It did not matter as long as we have a slope and one point that is on this line. Okay? So then we go from point slope form, which was this. But then from here, we need to turn it into slope intercept form, which is from this, we went to this. And then from here, from this, we turned it into standard form. Now, once we got the standard form, we wanted to check. And how do we check standard form? We use the block method. So to find my x-intercept, I need to block out, or let's do the y first. To find my y-intercept is the value of y when x equals 0. So what's negative 2 over 3 times 0? Just 0. So this gets canceled out. And now what's my y? Y equals 10 over 3, which is 3.33. And it ended up being there, 3.33. Now, same thing. To find my x-intercept is when y equals 0. So if y disappears, we're left with this down here, which is negative 2 over 3x. Negative 2 over 3x equals 10 over 3, multiplied by the reciprocal to cancel out. So now, guys, this is what we call the multiplicative inverse. You guys probably forgot about that term, but multiplicative inverse is the number that we have to multiply a fraction by in order to make it 1. Because what is 1x? Isn't that just x? And that's why we multiply the reciprocal to get x to be by itself. Okay, so what's negative 3 times negative 2? 6. What's 2 times 3? 6. What's 6 over 6? Just 1. That's how we got the x alone. And now we just multiply 10 over 3 times negative 3 over 2. This cross simplifies, so this is 1, this is 5. And now negative 3 and 3 simplify, so this is 1, and this is negative 1. My bad. Negative 1. And now what is 5 times negative 1? What is 5 times negative 1? Negative 5. So now I've checked that my y-intercept is fine, my x-intercept is fine, and my whole graph is fine. So my final answer is this one. Okay. So now let's go over here. Okay. Write an equation of the line. Okay, guys, we should know this. They're saying that we have a grid here. I could have done better. Okay, a grid here. Write an equation of the line. A vertical line that goes through the point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now they want a point right here at 5. At 5, 5. 5, 5. That's a 5, by the way. 5, 5. And they want a vertical line. Okay, vertical line. So that means my line would have to go this way. This way, right? So now, what is the equation of my vertical line, guys? Is it x equals 5? Is it x equals 5? Or is it y equals 5? Which one? You tell me. If my y equals 5, if my y were to equal 5, that means my 5 would have to be here. Is this here? Absolutely not. Also, it would have to be horizontal, because we know that when y equals 5, how can y equal 5 and our y go down here? Right? Think about it. If our y equals 5 and we went down, my y here would be 5, then it'd be 4, then it'd be 3, then it'd be 2. So how the heck is y 5 if I have a bunch of different values for y over here, here, and here? That's why whenever you plot a y equals something, it needs to go horizontal. Because here, this would be what? 1, 5. This would be 2, 5, right? Because I'm going down here, down here. This would be 3, 5 down here. And all of this is what? Their y values were still 5, 5, 5. So that means I know that this has to be x equals 5. Understand? Because if my x equals 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what is this point? 5, 1. What is this point? 5, 2. What is this point? 5, 3. So my x's are all the same. So that means this line is in fact x equals 5. You guys have to know that. That's going to come up a lot in chapter 8 especially. Okay? What is this? What is this? Okay. Find the equation of the line. I think these are the last two. All right, last two, guys. We're almost done. Find the equation of the line that passes through the point 3, 9 and is perpendicular to the line blah, blah, blah. Write the equation, slope, intercept form. Guys, we did this in the beginning of the year. You guys should have learned this in Algebra 1. Remember, we did this in the beginning of the year on the summer quiz, and a lot of people did pretty bad. So, let's just take a look at this. Okay. Find an equation of the line that passes through the point 3, negative 5. So what is this? This is a point. So let's write that here. This is a point. Now, what is my slope here? For this line, guys, pay attention. For this line, my slope is 1 over 9. But it's asking me to find the equation of a line that passes through these points and is perpendicular to the line this. So is my slope for this line that I want to concoct, that I want to find 1 over 9? No, it has to be perpendicular. So the slope for this line would have to be what? What is the opposite reciprocal of 1 over 9? It's negative 9. So now, if I have a point and I have a slope, what can I use, guys? Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So now, I'm going to plot this as x1, y1. So now, y minus what? Plus 9, because it's y minus negative 9, which is plus 9. What's my m? Negative 9. X, what's my x3? So I'm going to have y plus 9 equals negative 9x. What is negative 9 times negative 3? Positive 27. Subtract 9, subtract 9. So my final answer is going to be y equals negative 9x plus, what is that, 18, right? Plus 18. So that's my answer. This is the equation of the line that is perpendicular to this line, that when it passes, and where's that perpendicular passing through? 0.3, negative 9. Okay? So that means if I were to plot this out, right? Let's just plot this out for fun. If this was my graph, let's do like a rough sketch of this. Negative 2, up 1, 9 to the right. So it'll be something like this, right? Something like that. And now this one over here would be like what, 18? That's like really high up. And then minus 9, 1 to the right. So it'll be like this. And you see how like more or less we can see how it's perpendicular. And it's going to pass through line 3, negative 9. Okay? Something like that. Are we good? Okay, that's kind of complicated, but that's probably the hardest questions that you'll have here. Okay, so as long as we can master that, take the perpendicular, 1, 9, turn that, find its slope, find the slope. This, guys, this is the slope of this perpendicular line that passes through this point. Understand? So that means now I have the perpendicular, the slope of this line, and I have one of the points. So now I can put it into point slope form, find my slope intercept form, and that will be my final answer over here. Okay. I want to do question 46. I want to do 46 again. Unless it timed me out, then I'm not going to do it if it timed me out. Yeah, it timed me out. Okay, that's fine. We'll just do it again in class. Because I definitely want to go over some of these. Just some of them. So like we'll go over this one again if you guys want. This one. Whoops. This one. And this one. Okay. So now, once again, find the equation. This is the last one. Find the equation of the line that passes through the point. This one, right? This point right here. That is parallel to this line. So since it's parallel, what do I want my slope to be of this line? I also want it to be negative 2 over 3. So now I'm just going to plot these points and this slope into my what? Point slope form. So this is my x1, y1. So y minus negative 5, which is plus 5, equals slope, which is negative 2 over 3, x plus 3, boom, boom, plus 5 equals negative 2 over 3x. What is 2, 3 times 3 over 1? It's going to be negative 2, because this cancels out, and now I'm going to minus 5, minus 5. Now this is y equals negative 2 over 3x minus 7. That's my final answer. And it kind of makes sense too. Think about it. Look. Think about it. This slope right here is negative 2 over 3x. This slope right here is negative 2 over 3x. So if they have different y-intercepts, that means we succeeded, and they do. So we succeeded, and that is our final answer for that. Okay? So we're done with everything. This is going to be the Chapter 3 test review part 2, and we've pretty much gone over everything, okay? So, there's some questions. Maybe we could practice this one as well if y'all want, whatever you guys want. But please watch this. You guys can comment on the YouTube comments. I'll respond to you if there's something you didn't understand or you weren't quite sure. Put like a timestamp or something so I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'll try to respond to you if I can. I'll respond in the comment. If not, just remind me in class and I'll go over it. You guys know you can always ask me questions. So thank you for if you watched the whole things, thank you. And we'll see each other on Monday. My honors, I'll see you guys on Monday. My regular, I'll see you guys tomorrow. So we'll talk if anything. I just want 1 day of review. So for my regular classes, we're going to review tomorrow, Friday, and then we'll have the test right on Tuesday. And then my honors, we will review on Monday and then take the test that same day. My honors, you guys know we've already finished everything. I expect you guys to do a lot more, so you guys need to be ready on Monday. We're going to do a review, then go to lunch, and then we're going to take the test. So we got this, all right? just email me if you guys have any questions. I've responded to a couple of your emails already through the Collegia. So just keep emailing me if you guys have any questions. Please do the homework. If you guys have any questions, send me the Ask My Professor. Okay, so thank you guys.